You're here because you care about students. And you can never trade that epicenter, that orientation. Don't ever lose that, because there are people that will try to strip you from your stewardship, your expertise, your compassion, your competency, your professionalism. They will try to remove you from all of that and say you're down here for another reason. I have never really talked at length to a serious AEA member anywhere near the Capitol who couldn't tell me pretty directly that the reasons he or she were here was because of regard for students. Virtually every conversation I've ever had with a teacher or an ESP leader or member who was here got to the impact on students very, very quickly. Our currency, our credibility, our gravitas all come from our proximity to students, our stewardship of students, our expertise in educating and developing students. The reason it's so important for you to remember that is because a weird thing happens when you put educators at the legislature. If they've been here a lot, like Paul Lowe's and Tom Oviatt and many of our other leaders, and I could go on, there are a lot of them in the room, who have been here, they know that they don't have to give that up. But a lot of people who are here for the first time, and by show of hands, how many of you are here pretty much for the first time?
I don't care.
Maybe you should pay special heed to this. You are the experts. The people in this room right now are the experts on education issues. You have more knowledge, more firsthand experience, more tried and true wisdom, more trial and error expertise, more learned research behind you than any seated legislator. There are about 5 or 6 in any given year that are educators themselves. Representative Coleman is an educator himself. All right, Lynn Pancrazzi is a career educator. So we give them kind of special status. But what ends up happening too often is our members come down here and they lose a sense of who they are, and they believe they are applying for a job, interviewing for approval, sitting before greatness. Well, the process of democracy is a great process. And individuals who step up and run are entitled to our professionalism, our professional conduct, and our respect. We should conduct ourselves as professionals anytime we're dealing with elected officials, just as we would with parents or anybody else. But you are the experts. You're not applying for a job here today. You're not trading your own expertise to try to catch up with the political world. Don't feel like a bystander or somebody who's just down here. This is your legislature, and it's your expertise and your knowledge of students that makes you the one to be listened to. You don't have to chase political expertise today to have something to say. Your knowledge is as important as a seated legislator's knowledge of the political process. Don't believe me? Ask Marion Pickens, a career educator out of the Tucson Education Association, who is with us today and was herself a legislator and was magnificent. Marion can tell you all about the importance of what you know about students. Don't get bowled over. Don't be snowed. Treat your knowledge like a vault of credibility, an absolute anchor of orientation about what's important, what the priorities are. If somebody answers a question in a way you don't understand, do your BS test inside. Say, does that get back to my regard for students? Does that make sense with my values as an educator? These are people we allow to serve in office. And we don't do enough to make sure that the right people get into office. But we can work on that. But they are under a privilege to serve. All right? So use your expertise as a bearing, as an orientation. You are right to be here, just as you are right to choose education, just as you are right for what you do for students on a daily basis. I'm going to turn things over at this point.